And today, every machine that's going to be used on Election Day is being retested. The commission expects challenges in those 4 judicial races if the final vote count is close. And here with us now to weigh in is Dr. Kenneth Whalum Jr., pastor of the New Olivet Worship Center and former school board member. Dr. Whalum, welcome back to 3 at 3. Good to see you as always.
It is truly my
It's been
pleasure.
a long time since we've caught up.
Yep.
Let's start with the potentially good news first. More than 90,000 folks voted early. What does that say to you about how people see the importance of this election?
Well, it says that a lot of people are motivated by the shenanigans of the Republican Party in the State House, and that they're excited about being able to have a voice in the congressional districts and otherwise. But I'm not going to be overly excited about the record early voter turnout.
And why not?
Because it probably still represents a minuscule percentage of registered voters in Memphis and Shelby County. I don't think, Alex, I don't believe that the 75 to 80% of registered voters who don't usually vote, I don't think they voted yet. I think they've been waiting to be motivated, and I think they will be Thursday.
So what do you perceive could happen on Thursday, on Election Day? Do you think some of the efforts, some of the grassroots efforts we've seen a number of folks in the faith-based community making sure people got to early voting, got to the polls there? How will this pay off? How will it play out potentially?
Well, I think and I hope that people would do what I just did as I drove to the station. I drove down Crump on purpose to remind myself just what a horrible shape a lot of our city is in. Crump Boulevard looks like a war zone, and it has looked like a war zone for a half century. And what I know for a fact is that the people who are in office now have been in office for decades, and they haven't changed the condition of our city. And what I am doing on a personal basis is reminding voters, wait a minute, despite the rhetoric, this is the reality. Our city is in a bad way. The people who are in charge don't want things to change. They're doing okay. The small minority of Memphians who are doing okay, they don't want things to change.
Dr. Whalum, do you think people really feel that way? You and I were having a conversation about some of our recent travels and maybe how the passion that some people have in their cities for their cities to get to a better place, or maybe they are at a better place than maybe they were. You think some Memphians would actually feel that way to keep things just the way that they are?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. There are people who want to keep Memphis on a downward trajectory. If they didn't, we wouldn't be on a downward trajectory, Alex. There are people in office now who have been in office long enough to treat the condition of our city like a state of emergency. They have not. The definition of status quo is let's just keep things the way they are. It's gonna get better. It'll eventually get better. It just takes time. No. Martin Luther King Jr. said the time is always right to do right. And now is the time. Alex, if we don't change our future, which we can do, if we don't change it, we're going to be locked in a downward trajectory and a welfare state.
What gives you confidence? Do you have any confidence in where things currently stand with our school situation? Right now, we know the oversight committee has been put on hold when it comes to overseeing MSCS so forth.
Thank you for you're making my point for me. Why is the state takeover on pause? Because the basically black Democrats who are in charge keep filing lawsuits. The people who are in charge of the school board, in charge of local government, keep filing lawsuits against the state of Tennessee to slow things down on purpose, Alex.
But
it's
Dr.
called
Whalum,
a dilatory tactic.
People who are going to say at the same time, though, this is an effort to stifle the voices of Memphis and Shelby County voters if this goes through.
You're continuing to make my point, Alex. The voters who placed those persons in office, they spoke. And what their speaking did is it put elected officials in office who keep our children down. Again, this is not something I have to guess about. You guys have done countless stories on the fact that at every election, maybe 20% of the people vote, maybe 20. That means 80% haven't. And I believe they have a right not to vote because they don't think they have anything to vote for. But now I think they're beginning to understand that they can change.
And going back to the schools related issue, and again, I know with you and your investment in our schools and being a former school board member yourself, You don't see any progress being made here?
I see progress, but again, Alex, we have to go back to what Dr. King said. Wait a minute, a little progress ain't enough progress. Look, man, this is not the situation where you kill an elephant, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. No, we got to exterminate the elephant. We got to face where we are as a city, Alex. We have to be real about who we are and what we are as a city. And what we are as a city is a place where the county commission just voted to borrow $125 million to make payroll, Alex. That's who we are as a city. If we don't do something to change that, it's going to be too late, man.
What gives you confidence? What gives you hope, or has hope completely faded?
I have ultimate hope. I have great hope because I believe in the Word of God. The Word of God says, with man, things might seem impossible, but with God, all things are possible. But faith without works is dead. So, man, that's what I do. I'm a poster boy for taking unpopular positions, but most people know I'm telling the truth, Alex. And my hope is that the people who keep going to these churches every Sunday, every Wednesday for Bible study, every Tuesday for prayer,
but isn't that a good thing?
Will wake up.
Shouldn't they go there?
Yes, I just hope that their going there doesn't cause them to think that, okay, I prayed about it, it's going to be better. No, go to the polls Thursday.
Yeah.
You change it. God is waiting on you.
Let's go back to the school situation as well, though. What about, I know we put so much hope or so much attention on our school leaders, our administrators, as we should, school board members as well.
Yes.
But what about the role of the parent today, Dr.
The
Whalen?
parents are screaming, I need help. The parents are saying, look, will y'all please get the schools right so that I can send my child to school and understand and believe that he's safe.
But are they parenting enough, Dr. Whalen?
Well, some of them are, some of them are not. Alex, there was a time when Memphis City Schools, the public schools in Memphis, understood, school board members understood, principals understood that the schools are the parents during the day. We are in parentis, in loco parentis. That means when the kids are with us, with the schools, we're the parents. So we can't expect the parent to be the parent while we're the parent. What has happened is, and I don't think this can be argued, the people on the school board have not been prepared to manage a district. What we have seen, we've talked about it, what we have seen is that school board members either are not prepared or not willing to do what they need to do to provide a decent education for our kids. That's the best way I can put it, man. And if we don't reverse it now, it's going to be too late. Alex, the people who can afford to leave Memphis are leaving Memphis. The people who can't afford to leave are here, and now they're having to bear the tax burden that's left behind because the tax base is shrinking. I'm not imagining this. Everybody knows this. But at some point, we're going to have to take accountability and responsibility.
Dr. Kenneth Whalen Jr., always, you've given us something to think about.
You don't know how to appreciate it. Thank you, man.